Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on using Compass Plus and Unifrog together effectively. My name is Peter McKinney. I'm a Compass Plus consultant and I lead on the virtual delivery of our virtual training offer. And before we do get started, there's just a couple of things that I want to note. Now, as always, we have your best interests at heart. So when delivering Compass Plus training, we want to make sure that you're well equipped with the knowledge and expertise to use Compass Plus and Unifrog together effectively in your settings. So as such, we'll run through quite a bit of content today, but please don't worry, you will be sent a copy of the recording after the session so that you can then review this at your own pace. Now, the recording will be chapterized in YouTube as well, which means you can then jump to the relevant part of the webinar that you want to watch again. Now, when I do go into my Compass Plus demo account later, you may spot a few differences between what you see on screen when you're logged into Compass Plus and what you see in my demo account. Now, this is because we use a specific demo environment populated with dummy data to be able to then deliver all of our virtual training. So although there may be a slight difference between what you see and the core functionality, what I will be demonstrating today should functionally be the same. So I've got Tamid, one of our technical specialists, joining me today to answer any questions. He'll introduce himself in the chat now for you all. And we've also got Dave from Unifrog here too. So welcome, Dave. Thank you for coming on board. And would you like to say maybe a quick hello?
Hi everybody. Yeah, I'm Dave from Unifrog. And yeah, just thank you so much for having me on.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Dave. So just some learning objectives for everyone for today. So don't forget you can ask questions at any time using the Q&A, and Tamad will also be posting various links into the chat as we go. And as I mentioned when I introduced myself earlier, if you've registered for today's webinar, you will be sent a copy of the recording in our post-session comms. So, before we dive into the demo, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what we'll be talking about during today's session. So, this is a really simple way for you to be able to think about using Unifrog and Compass Plus together. So, you use Unifrog tactically to run and record your careers activities. You would then download this data from Unifrog, then upload it into Compass Plus, where you can then utilize the features such as activities reporting and also the learner report function as well. Okay, so the demo today, everyone, will walk through these 5 steps to success. So the webinar supporting resource will add to the Help Center for this webinar is actually aligned with this framework as well to help embed your learning from today's session. So let's just go into each step in a bit more detail here before we jump into the actual demo. So step one, review. You review your careers provision to identify gaps and areas for development. Looking at the latest Compass evaluation results and the future skills questionnaire responses might be a good place to start for this one. Number two, log and manage. So logging and managing your careers interactions in Unifrog, which Dave will show you where you can do this in his part of the demo in a moment. Step three, download. So you would download your interactions as a CSV file from Unifrog. Again, Dave will show you how to do this bit when he goes into his demo. Step four, we've got upload. So upload the CSV file into Compass Plus every half term or more often if you want to. And then finally, step five, analyze. So we've got analyze the activities data in Compass Plus using the different features like activities reporting, data visualizations, or the learner report as well. And again, I will show you where you can access these in the demo. Okay, so the Unifrog part now. So it's going to be over to Dave. So I will just stop sharing my screen, and then Dave, if you want to share yours.
Okay, I'm just doing that now. So click that and click that. Hopefully, has Unifrog appeared there?
It certainly has. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, brilliant. So yeah, hi everybody. My name's Dave. I'm one of the account managers at Unifrog. So there's a few names on this call who I recognise. It's great to speak to you. I'm the account manager for the West Midlands. So if you are somewhere around Birmingham or the sort of outlying areas, there's a good chance I work with your school. And if you're from somewhere else, there'll be somebody else who does the same job as me who works with you. So I'm just going to talk now about adding interactions onto Unifrog. For anybody who doesn't know, Unifrog is the Universal Destinations platform. So it's here to support students with their decision making, both at the age of 16, whether they're going to go on to college, uh, do an apprenticeship, etc., or at the age of 18 for their next steps, maybe going off to university, maybe doing an apprenticeship then, etc. It's all here to make sure students are in the best place to make the best decision. It runs from year 7 all the way through, in theory, to year 13, and it also helps schools with providing evidence of everything that they do as part of their careers provision. And obviously, that's really the focus of today. It's that evidence of everything that you're doing to work towards Gatsby benchmarks that go into interactions and obviously work with Compass Plus. So what I'm going to do is walk through how that works on the Unifrog platform. So you can see I've logged in as my example school. And what I first wanted to do was click on use the platform as a student and just show you when it comes to interactions what students can see, and then we'll look at how to add them. So from the student side, every student will have a profile like this, where they can complete tasks, where they can build up their profile, get suggestions, and learn about the next steps. But under this recording section here, there is a button that says interactions. Students can add activities and skills for themselves, but interactions are always added by the school and they will be linked to Gatsby benchmarks. So students can click on interactions, they can see what interactions have been added by staff at the school, but they can't add them for themselves. There's also, and I'll talk about this a little bit when we're actually adding an interaction, a way that parents can get the same kind of view. You can choose as a school how much you want parents to see or not see, but it's also possible to share interactions with parents. So one of the main reasons for adding interactions onto Unifrog is exactly that. Students and parents can see interactions. So if ever somebody says to one of your students, what have you had in terms of careers provision? And they shrug their shoulders and say, absolutely nothing. You can direct them to that and show them everything that's been provided and kind of jog their memory. Now, in terms of adding interactions, it's all done from the teacher side. So I'm going to go back to my teacher side, which is the same as what you will see when you first log in. And it's done in the manage section, and it's done in the advanced manage section. So where it says manage your students, make sure it says advanced. If it's anything else on this drop down, you can change it to advanced. And what you should see is a banner which has year groups that your students are in. And along the bottom, you've got actions that you can take. And obviously one of them, which we'll get onto in a second, is the interaction one. But the important thing is you'll be able to see all of your students here. Now, to add an interaction, as you would imagine, you will click on this button at the bottom that says add an interaction. But obviously, there's loads of different ways of being able to do this. It can be really flexible. So say you have a speaker come in and speak to an entire year group, maybe in an assembly, it's my year 13s, you can just click on add an interaction and it will do it for all of my year 13s in one go. But in reality, the events that you're hosting probably are not going to be as straightforward as that. You might take a group of students, you might take students across different year groups, and you can do that. So if it's across different year groups, there's a button here that says custom. You can pick multiple year groups. It could be every year in the school. It could be 2 year groups, whatever works. And then you would see all of the students across those year groups. So if I pick year 13 and year 12, that number now at the bottom left goes up, and I'm looking at both my year 13s and my year 12s. Now, also, you might, like I say, only want to add an interaction for a group of students, and you can do that too. Down at the bottom, there's a button that says match. If we click on that, a text box pops up. And what you can then do is paste in a list of names from a register or email addresses into that box, and it should find specifically those students. So I've hopefully copied before this webinar 3 names. And if I paste into there, what it's done is it's found 2 of them and it's ticked them. So there they are. And then it's told me it can't find 1 student name as well. So if there is an issue, it will tell you who it can't find, and you can maybe just scroll and find them. It might be that the names don't match up or something like that, or they're in a different year group, but it will tell you anyone that it hasn't found. But in this case, I could add the interaction now for the 2 students, or obviously in your case, you might be adding it for 10, 20, 30, 40, but it will tell you the number of students that you're adding it for at the bottom. There are other ways. You can filter by tags. You can see on our example school, everybody's got loads of tags. You could filter by a form group, but effectively you can be really flexible with who you're adding the interaction for. You can even go into an individual student record and add an interaction just for 1 individual student. Underneath their name, you've got that same add interaction button. Now, however you go about that, eventually you will be able to click on add an interaction, and this is the form that you need to complete. So you'll give it a name. It might be, like I say, trip, assembly, whatever it is. Just remember that the students, and if you want to, the parents will be able to see this. So just type in something that obviously represents what the event was. You can say what the type is. So again, you can see the options down here. It's a really flexible tool. As I say, you can add one-to-one interaction. So if you've spoken to a student, maybe come up with a careers action plan, something like that, you can pick that one, or any of these different options. You can also set students' tasks. You can say who's delivering it. So particularly if it's a one-to-one, is it a qualified advisor? You can be flexible with that. You can talk about what the learning was supposed to be for this session. So if you were to click on World of Work, University, you can obviously report against that. You can pick which Gatsby benchmarks the session is designed to work towards. So I might say that this is working towards Gatsby benchmark 1 and 5. But again, obviously choose the ones you want to. And then in the description box, this is one of the most important boxes because this is what the students will be able to see. So you could type in just a few sentences or a short paragraph about what happened. So I could say speaker from local uni, and then I'd go off and just say a few bits about what they spoke about. If there's been an employer involved, you can type in the employer name. You could even put the university name in there. I've said it's the World of Work. This is where there's the box for details for parents. So if you're happy for parents to see this and you want to link up parents, you can click on copy text from description and that will go in there. Or if you'd rather not, say it's a one-to-one and something, and yeah, some of the information you might not want parents to see, you can leave that blank. If you've used Unifrog before, and even used interactions before, you may not have seen this previously. This is very, very new, but it really does help. Again, we do other sessions on this about how Unifrog can work in terms of engaging parents. You can make notes for teachers, probably maybe just for one-to-ones. So if you've spoken to the student about something you want to remind yourself of, you can. And then you can attach something from Unifrog too if you want to. It could be one of our tools, it could be one of our guides, or you can click on attach a file and attach something from your computer. So if you've had a speaker who's left a slide deck and there's a PowerPoint presentation, you could attach that to it as well. You can say when it was. Absolutely fine to backdate this. If this happened 2 weeks ago, that's not a problem. You can also put in here events that are happening in the future and that are planned. Students will be able to see that they're coming up. And obviously, when you're doing the download in a second, that will all be included in the download that we're going to talk about. You can ask students for feedback. You can send them a message. But really, you just need to then click on add for 175 students or however many it is. And then that will all save to every single one of those students' records. You'll be able to see that in Unifrog. It's all visible. You can go back into interactions and edit them. So don't ever be worried about doing it. Don't be scared of it. I always think this sounds like a challenge, but you can't break it. If anything goes wrong, you can always go back into it and edit anything. So again, if you can get staff involved in that process, maybe curriculum staff, curriculum leaders, adding interactions, it can be a great place to record everything that you're doing as a school. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of adding an interaction. The main or the last part then is transferring it over to Compass Plus. So the first thing I'm just going to say, I'm not going to go into this, but we do just need to make sure student UPN numbers are on student accounts. So if you're linked to us via your MIS system, that should automatically pull through. So that's nice and easy. If you're not, they might just need to be added manually from the data from your MIS. There's spreadsheets for that. So let your account manager know if that's something that needs to be done. But that's kind of the bit of admin that needs to be done first of all. Once that's done and you're ready to transfer it over, it should be really, really straightforward. You just need to select the students that you want to transfer over. Some schools do this sort of year group by year group. You could, in theory, do every year group all at once by clicking on custom and picking every year group. But once you've picked your students, you just need to click on download at the bottom. There's loads of different downloads here, but the second bullet point here says interactions, and you can see the downloads here that refer to the CEC Compass Plus. So again, depending on the timeline of when you want to do it, you can pick this academic year, last year, or every interaction that you've ever added onto Unifrog. I won't open up the spreadsheet itself. It doesn't make a lot of sense specifically to look at. But the whole point is that you download it from Unifrog and then you can upload it into Compass, which is what's going to be covered, which is what is going to be covered, sorry, next. So really that's all there is to it. One thing I did just want to mention as well is at the top we have our help guides. These have been revamped this year. So if you type in Compass or if you were to type in anything related to interactions, you'll get guides that relate to how to use Unifrog with Compass Plus. There's a video on that, there's a walkthrough. There's also guides on just how to add an interaction like I've just shown you. So there's loads of support and help with doing that. But like I say, once that's all done, it should be fairly easy to transfer over. And this is where I think I will hand back over. So I will stop
Brilliant.
sharing my screen and yeah, I'll pass back over to Pete.
Great stuff. Thanks, Fab Dave. Okay, I'll just now share my screen and move just onto our demo slide. So Fab, thanks very much for that, Dave. That was absolutely brilliant. So now I'm going to jump into my Compass Plus demo account and I'm going to show you step 4, how to upload the CSV file from Unifrog, and then also step 5 to identify the key functionality that you can use in Compass Plus to analyze the data. So if I just jump into my Compass Plus account. So in order to upload the document into Compass Plus, you log into your Compass Plus, and then from the main navigation bar, we're going to click into activities. And then from activities, we're going to go into your activities. And once we're in this page here, you will see the little upload icon, upload activities. So you would click the upload activities icon, and then you can either select the file button to locate your CSV file, whether that's saved on a hard drive or a desktop, that type of thing. Or you can drag and drop a spreadsheet into the highlighted grey area here. So you would select your file and then you would locate it and then you would upload that into Compass Plus. Then once that's done, a successful upload message will appear in the box at the bottom of the screen, and it will let you know that the activities are uploaded successfully. Now, if there are any errors of any kind at this stage, everyone, these have to be resolved before the upload is complete. So when we go back to the slide deck, I'll show you a screenshot of what an error message might look like. Okay, so when your upload is successful, the number of activities will increase here. So if we then go into view our activities, the activities that we have just uploaded from Unifrog will be displayed in here, and this will be in the completed activities tab. So now, as I mentioned earlier, I use a demo account to deliver all of our virtual training. So what you see on screen here with Compass Plus may be slightly different to what's in yours when you do this as well. So what we're going to do is look at the source column here. Okay, so what it will say, if I just select the inverted triangle, so we can see that the source where this information or these activities have come from is in Compass Plus. But if it has come from Unifrog, then it will say the Unifrog spreadsheet upload. So that's where we can find things in the source column. They can also be recorded directly within Compass Plus. And then you can use the uploader from Unifrog, or you can use the CEC spreadsheet as well. So we have our own CEC upload template. So at the moment, all activities from Unifrog upload go into Compass Plus as completed. So that's something to note there. So we do advise uploading Unifrog data once all the interactions you've recorded in that platform have been completed. We also advise everyone uploading your Unifrog interactions into Compass Plus once every half term or once every term, depending on how many you have. Now, again, in the source column here, it will say Unifrog spreadsheet upload against any activities that have been uploaded into Compass Plus from Unifrog. There's one thing to take away from today's session. It's that uploading interactions from Unifrog into Compass Plus doesn't involve any duplication of effort. So once you've delivered queries activities in your setting, mark them as complete in Unifrog, and then uploaded these interactions into Compass Plus, there's no need to add them as activities in all over again. So after you've followed the upload process, the data is in Compass Plus. Now you can continue to step 5 of the process, which is the data analysis. So we can also then take advantage of the reporting functionality as well within Compass Plus, and that helps you sort of analyze all of the activities data. So I'm going to show you some features in Compass Plus that you can use to analyze your activities data, and we can look at activities reporting, data visualizations, and also the learner report. So from the navigation bar, we are going to click into activities again, and then your activities. And then this time we are going to look at activities reporting. So to start with, we are going to look at the data visualization tab. So here we can track the number of planned and completed activities against each of the Gatsby benchmarks. So just hovering over the completed activities, you can see those there. And once you've uploaded your data from Unifrog, this visualization will update to reflect your activities data. So if we've uploaded 100 activities from Unifrog, this would now say 117. So I'm just going to go back to the activities reporting tab. So here we can utilize the activities report and we can start to drill down further into your activities data. So after uploading activities into Compass Plus from Unifrog, if we select some of the filters here, and let's say we focus on status filter, and then we'll look at where the activity originated from. And then if we select from the filter down here next to the column header, just going to move this down here. Okay, down here, if it's uploaded from Unifrog, the spreadsheet would then appear in here. So at the moment, we've got the CEC spreadsheet upload, and then we've got also within Compass Plus. Tamid will at the moment, he'll pop a link into our latest Compass Plus data and reporting webinar into the chat now, as we go into more detail about activities reporting in that particular webinar. Now, going back to the home screen here, now when you've uploaded your activities from Unifrog into Compass Plus, the learner profiles, they will be automatically updated too. So let me show you what this looks like. So we're going to go into learner, and then we are going to go into learner report. And in here, I'm just going to search for Rob. So I'm going to look for Rob James. Okay, so I'm just going to click on Rob's profile. And what it'll do is it takes us straight into Rob James's activities tab. So if Rob was added to activities originally recorded in Unifrog and then uploaded into Compass Plus, when we scroll down here, the activity details will be in this table, and the status in the end column, this will be highlighted in green. So if we wanted to share these activities or this activities information with either Rob or with an appropriate adult who might be supporting Rob on his career learning journey, we can just click, I'm just going to move that over to the side, we can just click the Generate Learner Report tab. And then from in here, we can choose to either download the information to a PDF or we can email it directly to Rob. Now, I'm going to click into the Download Learner report. And we've got the option at this point here to be able to customize the report and only include activities. So if I just select activities here, I'm going to deselect all of the not relevant tabs. Okay, so we'll make sure that we're just looking at the activities. So that's the only box that is ticked. And then when we're done, if we just click confirm, all of the activities that Rob has been added to will download onto a computer or onto your computer as a PDF. So I'm just going to open it quickly, just so you can see what this looks like. So we can see here all of Rob's activities that he has been added to. Now, if you wanted to email this to Rob, what we can then do is if we click into the email learner report. So if you have learner email addresses in Compass Plus, the learner's email will automatically populate into this pop-up box here. So see this one here. Now you can edit this as necessary or with the learner's permission, of course. If you need to email the report to someone other than the learner, then you can enter the email address in here as well. And when you click confirm, we're ready to customize the report and decide what information we want to email to Rob. Now, as I'm using a demo account today, that's not connected to a real school. I can't show you this step, certainly the email function, as it's not part of the valid actions that I can complete. But if you follow these steps in your setting, you will absolutely be able to share the learner report via the email. Okay. So just going back to the home screen here. So I appreciate that was a little bit of a whistle-stop tour on using Compass Plus and the functionality to be able to review uploaded Unifrog data. So don't forget to head to the Compass Plus Help Center, everyone, if you want more guidance on how to use any of those particular features as well. So just going to come back to the slide deck. So as I mentioned earlier, here are some of the screenshots of what an error message might look like if any occur when you do your Unifrog upload. So a reminder for you here that we do have a troubleshooting guide that explains the most common errors with uploading activities and how to resolve them. Tamara again will pop the link to the guide and to the chat for you now that covers that. So if there are any errors of any nature that occur, then these have to be resolved before the upload is successful. So also, if there are no learner UPNs, and Dave mentioned this earlier in the spreadsheet, it will stop the upload as well. But if the UPNs in the spreadsheet are wrong, they will have to be corrected before the spreadsheet will upload successfully. So UPNs are really important. Now, if you're still having an issue with uploading your Unifrog data into Compass Plus, don't forget you can reach out to our technical specialists like Tamid, raise a support request, and then they can help resolve it as well. Okay, so as we just start to draw things to a close now, everyone, I just wanted to do a quick recap here and show you more of the detailed version of the process overview that I showed you at the beginning of the webinar. So this slide includes the 5 steps now to the success, and you can then see where using Unifrog and Compass Plus together as a cycle, when you get to step 5 there, you go back to step 1 and start all over again. So a very cyclical process. So by using both platforms in this way, everyone, you can certainly build and maintain an institutional memory in a safe GDPR compliant environment. You can absolutely upload Unifrog data to inform the progress towards achieving the Gatsby benchmarks. You can certainly create a meaningful learner profile that includes their interactions from Unifrog, and absolutely use the activities reporting to explore attendance data and who's also missing out. Now, if you haven't delivered FSQ to learners this term, why not integrate it into a blended Unifrog session? So while learners are online updating their Unifrog profiles, you can then take advantage of the IT access to be able to complete the Future Skills questionnaire at the same time. Okay, so if you're keen to learn more about Compass Plus, please do join us for another webinar. Again, Tamara will drop the link to register for any of those into the chat now. You can also watch the previous webinar recordings via YouTube on our Compass Plus training webinars playlist, and certainly keep your eyes peeled for our feature focus sessions, which are also coming soon. Now, as I've mentioned a couple of times today, we do have a range of support available to help you use Unifrog and Compass Plus together effectively. So you can also contact your Unifrog account manager or email Unifrog for support. There are also help center articles available for both platforms if you get stuck with the upload download process. And we have articles to help you if you need a bit more direction to analyze the data once it's into Compass Plus. Now, I'm just going to go online and show you our Compass Plus Help Center now. Okay, so we're on our Help Center, just clicking into Compass Plus Help Center here. And here you will see all the different sections of the Help Center, which allow you to gain access to the webinar support and resources. So if we just click in webinar reporting, supporting resources here, these have all been designed to help embed your learning from today. So a top tip for Help Center as well, everyone, is to use the search bar up here. If there's something in particular that you need help with, just pop it in here, and all the articles that we have in that term will to be displayed here. So if I just type in, for example, Unifrog, hit enter, and we can see all of our articles linked to Unifrog here. Now, Tamid will be popping links for all of these articles into the chat for you right now. So please or sorry, plus, sorry. These will also be available in the post-session comms as well. Okay, so just bringing things to a close now. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. And thanks to Dave for his delivery too. Please do scan the QR code and leave your feedback or follow the link in the chat to complete the feedback form as well. We'd be really grateful if you could do this as it's so valuable to help develop and improve our training offer. So thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you on another webinar soon. Goodbye.